Hello, my name is Sorcha Lynch, and today I'll be discussing nature versus nurture. I chose to do this topic as the debate between the two really piqued my interest, and as a future educator, I think it's an important argument to have. Today, we will be discussing the theme of nature versus nurture, but in an educational context and its effects of one's academic performance over a lifetime. I will do this with the help of two theories I have discovered. Nature versus Nurture is Nonsense by Fiona K. Barlow and Nature versus Nurture in Special Education by Susan Enoch Marks. Before we move on, there is one important question. What is nature versus nurture? Nature versus nurture is a psychological argument that poses the question of sociology versus biology and how a child adapts to this over a lifetime. What do both the elements of nature versus nurture entail? For nature, it would be genetic factors, for example, hair and eye color, influence of human traits and behavior, and inheritance of health conditions and mental illnesses. For nurture, it would be environmental factors, for example, upbringing, culture, education, and social interaction and experiences. These shape an individual's development and behaviors, and influences would be parents, teachers, peers, and family. Now that we know what nature versus nurture is, how does it affect education? As we know, the nature aspect is the biological component of the argument. It poses the question if children are born with genetics that would make them smart from birth, and on the contrary of that, in regards to nurture, does a children's environment determine their level of intelligence? An article I read for this project said studies have shown that children from lower socioeconomic backgrounds tend to have lower IQ scores than those from higher socioeconomic backgrounds, suggesting that environmental factors play a crucial role in a child's cognitive development. This statement would suggest nurture has a bigger role to play in education. But before I came to any conclusions, I decided to examine the argument through alternate understandings, and we will examine that now. Theory 1. Nature versus Nurture is Nonsense by Fiona K. Barlow. An overview. Nature versus Nurture is Nonsense by Fiona K. Barlow challenges the long-standing debate of nature versus nurture in shaping human behavior and traits. Barlow argues that it is too simplistic and fails to capture the complexity of human and child development. She suggests that both genetic and environmental factors interact in a way that influences an individual's character and intelligence. Barlow makes sure to emphasize the importance of understanding the interaction between genes and environment working together rather than pitting them against each other in this debate. And to conclude Barlow's theory, Barlow's nature versus nurture's nonsense promotes a more broader perspective of human development, calling for a mutual understanding that genetic and environmental influences. She encourages readers to move beyond the simplistic nature of versus nurture debate and appreciate the complexity of factors that shape human behaviors over a lifetime. How could we adapt Barlow's theories to an academic setting? As a future educator, I took it upon myself to put myself into Barlow's shoes and think about what I would do if I was adapting her work to an academic setting, e.g., a classroom. So I chose four elements. Diversity. Instead of putting the same expectations on all students to take into account that students come from diverse cultural, financial, and social economic backgrounds, and for educators to embrace this in their classroom and to also celebrate this. Positive environment. To create a safe, nurturing, and positive environment that plays to both aspects of nature versus nurture and that enhances a student's ability to overcome challenges and thrive in their environment. Family involvement. Communicate with parents and guardians about the area of an environment that could be influencing these children. Collaborate with guardians to ensure that students reach their full potential. Learning styles. Ensuring our classroom is a place that is adaptable to all students' learning styles, e.g., visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learning, to give each student an equal chance to learn. Theory 2. Nature versus Nurture in Special Education by Susan Enoch Marks. An overview. Marks highlights a stark contradiction in schools' messaging about inclusivity and the actual experience of students with disabilities. While science may proclaim every child can learn, the reality often seems to exclude those with disabilities, suggesting that nature, inherent abilities, and disabilities is prioritized over nurture, educational support, and safe and comfortable environment. The article identifies three problematic assumptions in regards to special education. First, there's the belief that students with disabilities must prove their ability to learn before being educated alongside non-disabled/slash non-divergent peers. Second, students are often segregated based on their disabilities, despite this detrimental effects on separating special needs pupils from their peers has on their social skills and life skills. Lastly, the expectation that all students must achieve strict government led learning outcomes overlooks the diverse learning needs and paces of students. Conclusion: Mark calls for a shift towards a more inclusive, individualized, and nurturing approach, challenging these prevailing assumptions and advocating for equal educational opportunity for all students. As stated in this article, Kathleen Snow's concept of presuming competence challenges this status quo. Kate Snow, 2005. Advocating for an inclusive education that offers all students access to high quality learning environments. By integrating specialized services into general education classrooms, schools can be met with better diverse needs or students with disabilities. Again, how can we adapt UNOC's theories in an academic setting? Inclusive education practice. Bring more special needs access into the everyday classroom, e.g., more SNA teachers, and other services giving special needs students the opportunity to be included with all their peers. Secondly, additional SNA training. Offer more training and further education for qualified SNA educators, so not only educators, but students feel more comfortable in the environment. As a part of my degree, I've decided to take on the side course of SNA training to ensure that as a future educator, I can help every single child with every needs in my classroom. Thirdly, to promote inclusive school culture, to create opportunities for students with, with or without disabilities to interact and work together. To one, break down stigmas, and to two, create an equal and diverse environment for all my students. Advocacy and awareness. Raising awareness not only in the school environment but locally and even nationally on the importance of equal education and facilities for all, e.g., campaigning for policy campaigns. How do these theories affect across academic performance over a lifetime? In an article conducted by McRae, Ostendorf, Fritz, and all the other authors of this article, which is cited in my reference list, Nature over Nurture, Temperament, Personality, Lifespan Development, their research states underscores the significance of genetic factors in shaping various aspects of personality, suggesting that these innate qualities have a substantial impact on how individuals interact with their environment and navigate life's challenges. The study highlights that while environmental factors experience play a role in genetics, temperament have a predominant influence on personality traits and development outcomes, McCrae 2000. So what does this mean in the two theories we have just discussed? Barlow's theory. Barlow's perspective would emphasize the academic success is influenced by a complex intertwined view between inherent abilities, nature, and external influences, nurture, at different life stages. From early childhood experience to adult learning opportunities, both nature and nurture play key roles in shaping lifelong academic performances. Marxist theory. If adapted to Marxist theory, it emphasizes the importance in recognizing both inherent abilities and environmental influences in shaping academic performance over a lifetime. This perspective emphasizes while genetic factors may provide foundation for learning, environmental factors including educational support and equal academic and social opportunity significantly impacts an academic outcome over one's lifetime. Barlow's theory, meaning once again a broad understanding that acknowledges the intertwined nature of genetics and nurture of environment, it is essential to comprehend academic performance over one person's lifetime. And regards to Marx, by understanding and addressing the interplay between nature and nurtures, educators and individuals can better adapt to learning strategies throughout different life stages, promoting continuous and academic growth and success for all students in their classroom. Conclusion. In conclusion, I think both theories argue both sides of nature versus nurture in an unbiased perspective. Both Barlow and Marx's ideas dive into the complexity of this argument during early childhood and over a lifetime. It is evident that these two factors greatly influence a person's ability to perform over a lifetime, and after conducting all of my research, I have come to the personal conclusion that nature is the biggest contributing factor. From my research, to me, it is extremely obvious that every child in a classroom, no matter who they are or their genetics, if they are offered an equal, diverse, and comfortable environment to learn and thrive in, that they will continue to be successful learners throughout their academic lives. This debate has encouraged me as a future educator to advocate for equal opportunities for each child in my classroom to learn and grow. Thank you.